Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Future Knight Eric here, and happy new year. And I'm coming at you with the first video of 2022 with my back to dueling OTS winner mat first place deck profile. Was trying to come up with something new to bring to you in this new year for my first video, but I guess we just ended up doing what we do best, and going to locals, doing well enough to get first place, and bringing you the deck profile. A little bit about the tournament. It was 24 players, absolutely incredible turnout for the first locals of the year, and like I said, I managed to get first place. There was, unfortunately, a terrible turn of events at the tournament, and I ended up playing against most of the people in my team / testing circle. We call ourselves Comp, Knights of the Millennium Puzzle, which consists of Herbert, Robbie, and Dom. I ended up playing against all three of them today, and of course, knowing what they were playing and they knowing what I was playing, it ended up for some really interesting duels, dropping probably my only game of the entire day to Dom. I did go undefeated the whole day, 24 people's 5 rounds, and in round 1 I played against a more casual deck, Toons, but he was splashing Dragoon in there, very, very strong. Round 2 was against Dinosaurs, which were piloted by Herbert. Our games went relatively quick. I unfortunately 2-0'd him. In game 1 he could have won, but he sequenced his cards wrong. If he went Dark Ruler then Mystic Mind, he actually would have won the game. I have no Oust to Mystic Mind in my main deck, which is clearly something I need to change, but he ended up going Mystic Mind first, and I removed it with Zeus, and then he went Dark Ruler, which made no impact. And then in game 2 I just was able to play through his going second cards. Round 3 was against Dom, piloting True Draco. Very, very tough deck to play against. Floodgates hurt combo a lot, and that is what we're playing, but I managed to take that 2-1. Round 3 was against Robbie. Unfortunately, if you win the dice roll, this deck is just absolutely cracked. And then in game 2 he went first, but he bricked terribly. And then in the final round I went up against a veteran player, Pranesh, probably one of the best players in South Africa. Game 1 he bricked terribly, ending on Baron with an Ash, and I was able to drop blitz the Baron and then bait out the Ash with Fractal and use Bird Call. And then game 2 he did get a lot of plays going, but when he added the Protoss, I actually sided in Lanciers, which were dead up until that point because he didn't go the Tenny route, but it actually stopped him from summoning the Protoss, which won me the game, because if Protoss hit the board, banishing that Tire, that Wind Monster, I would have just lost. He ended on Baron and the Synchro 8. I top deck Droplets, most broken card in the game at the moment. Send to negate both, went full combo and managed to take that. So pretty insane day, very quick day. It was very strange, and obviously I'm piloting a new deck. Definitely I think the best deck of the format. A lot of cards in the format at the moment: Invoked DPE, Flunder, Bird Up, obviously, Sword Soul. Very diverse Drytron, very diverse format of very, very strong decks. But I do personally think this is the best deck of the format. And that's pretty much it for the tournament roundup. Not much else to say there, and then we can just get straight into the deck profile. The deck profile does take heavy inspiration from Rian, who is our most recent OTS champ Swiss winner. Shout outs to him for sharing his list, and we can just get right into it. We play 2 Wagtail, being a hard ones per turn. Most of them are hard ones per turns, but you need to see the others in your hand a lot more. Wagtail adds us the infamous Bird Call, which is probably the most broken card in the deck, and it gives you the effect to be able to attach it to a Lyrilusc XYZ. Very, very strong effect, very underrated. Gives your XYZs more materials, so it brings up a lot of OTK potential, as well as just more disruption in the form of your Ensemble Robin. We are then playing 3 of probably one of the better birds. This is the one that lets you play through the more oppressive hand traps, the ones that catch you really off guard if you have to take different routes, such as Nib, Droll, and Lancia. This lets you play through those and at least end on, if going second, a pretty stacked Zeus, or going first, a pretty stacked Ensemble Robin. Very, very strong. Comes at the end of your combo. You need to play it at 3. I've heard a couple of discussions around that this card should get hit. I was speaking to Ryan Fletcher, quite a well-known Yu-Gi-Oh player overseas, and he thinks that this card deserves the hit because this card, just on top of everything, is absurd. But being one of the newer cards, I do think it is relatively safe. We play 3 Wobbler, obviously your key combo piece. This starts your combo going. Sometimes you don't even need it if your hand is cracked enough, but seeing this just makes it a lot easier to get to where you want to be. After turn 1, this becomes a little bit weaker unless you have ways of tuning it out, such as with Canary or with your Swallow. So that's also, I guess, the case with the Sparrow. So Wobbler and Sparrow become a lot weaker after turn 1 by themselves, but in tangent with Swallow as well as Canary, these 2 cards are still obviously absolutely insane. We're maxing out on all the birds, and we're playing quite an arbitrary number here. We're playing 48 cards, which is not the norm. Usually it's 40. Reason for that is we don't want to see same names, and there are technically bricks in this deck that you want to avoid, that you want to tune out. So yeah, that's the reason we're playing the 48, as well as Desires being a card. But seeing any 2 of these names in hand usually means you have full combo, which is just absolutely disgusting. A common theme in this deck is that it's very, very unfair. We are covering the bird section first, so I did decide to put these in. Mist Valley, Apex Avion, and the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. I do play both, mainly because of Desires. If you Desires and you banish one, you just summon the other. If you banish both, that is extremely unfortunate, but you're just going to have to make a plan from there. Maybe not end on the Link 3 and instead end on Appaloosa. However, these cards are absolutely cracked. I summoned Mist Valley pretty much all day except for the one time when I banished it. And I summoned Barrier Statue, but in theory, Barrier Statue against things such as Drytron is really, really strong. So I do feel like it's still warranted to be played. And then when you do end on the double Dragon Lord play with the Barrier Statue, it's also obviously a lot stronger because you can just bounce their normal summon back to their hand. And then to finish off the birds, probably the most broken card, which deserves the ban, but I don't think we'll get it because it's obviously such a brand new card, Bird Call. Let's just add a Rota, Foolish Burial, plus a, I guess, 1-for-1 all-in-one card. It's absurd. It shouldn't be real. I read the card and it just doesn't make any sense. I pulled a ton of these out of Synchro Storm, and it's actually pretty much the reason why I built the deck, just because of pulling them. This deck kind of happened by accident with a little bit of help from my good friend Michael. So yeah, but this card is absolutely insane. Like I said, it won me a game in the finals against that Sword Soul matchup. Then onto the Tri-brigade stuff, which is probably the biggest red flag for the ban list. It makes the most sense to get hit. It's been running rampant for 2 formats now. Yes, in different decks, but it still essentially is doing the same thing. Fractal should go to 1, if not get banned. It facilitates most of your combos, and it allows the bridge between Lyrilusc and Tri-brigade to happen, which is why this deck is so strong. Yeah, and it's insane. This card being 1900 is actually dumb as well. It's just a huge body that you can sometimes just summon off Ferrigit later in plays and just OTK with, which is just ridiculous. We obviously play the card that actually links the 2 decks together, Nerval. Nerval is a level 1 winged beast wind monster. Who would have thought? And this card is insane. Being able to add this off of your Sparrow, being able to summon it off of your Swallow is just ridiculous. And then getting free searches on top of searches, chain blocking, it's just, this card is absolutely insane. Yeah, you play this at 3 irrespective of what Fractal goes to or what Fractal is at. Then because we are playing Desires, we're playing 2 kits and 2 Karas. I feel like 2 Karas is pretty much like almost standard. You almost have to play it at those ratios. 2 kits, I don't like too much. Sometimes seeing 2 kits in hand is terrible. However, seeing kit and Karas with nothing else in hand is still full bird combo, because what you can end up doing is you go discard kit, special Karas, kit send Nerval, Nerval add Fractal, then you can go Fractal, discard, obviously Karas on field, this is engrave, Fractal, discard, send anything, we'll just, in this instance, send kit, then you can banish 4, summon your Shurag, link Shurag and Karas into Ferjit, and then you can add a bird and get going from there. As long as you have a bird in hand, which is obviously extremely likely considering the fact that we're playing so many, and all of them at 3 except for obviously Wagtail. So yeah, you have to play at that ratios just because of Desires. And seeing them is actually, you know, not too bad in itself. You end up playing Tri-brigade instead of birds, which is, believe it or not, still really, really good. Then for the going second cards, this is where my list differs from Rian's. We're only playing 1 DD Crow. In his list, he played 3. The reason I'm only playing 1 is because in this format, it's not like insanely impactful. It's really good in the mirror. You can hit their Wobbler target or their Canary target. But for me, it just feels extremely low impact. So I am playing the 1 because obviously it is searchable. It is a utility card. You can normal this to make your Swallow live so you can get specials going. But I do think it's not high impact enough to warrant playing 3. So what I've done, instead of playing 3 DD Crow, I'm playing 1 DD Crow and 2 Ash. Ash being a hard once per turn, I've always liked better at 2. Even though we're playing 48, I feel like you need to play Ash Blossom in some capacity in any deck, just so you can play against Rogue. So those are the first 3 hand traps. Second 3 hand traps, which weren't too great today just because of my very random matchups. Random being, you know, all my friends, was Effect Veiler. This card, in theory, in the meta is very, very strong. You can, you know, hit certain things in the bird combo to slow them down. It doesn't really hurt them. Oftentimes, you'll need 2, even 3 hand traps to stop birds. It's just because the deck is so insane. But yeah, like against Draco, this does nothing. Against Dinos, if they have Misk, it does nothing. If they have Lost World, it does nothing. It's just... It's subpar today, but I do know it is a very good card, so it has to be played. I wanted for playing Effect Veilers. I believe in Rian's list he was playing 3 Crow, 3 Ash, so I ended up changing the ratios to this to get the best of both worlds, I guess. Other hand traps, so we're playing 9 hand traps in total, is Triple Imperm. This card is obviously Veiler but better, doesn't trigger triple tactics, can negate the column, which does come up against bad players, but luckily today I didn't play any bad players. I played my teammates, so yeah, it's just an insane card. Being able to use it in your turn is probably the biggest benefit. Being able to, in the mirror, you know, stop that Utopic Draco future is very, very strong. Then the last going second card, which is probably the MVP of the whole day. I think I saw this card in every single game, never mind match, and every single game I saw it, I won. So it's this card is ridiculous. When we actually got to the event, myself and my team, Herbert, the Dino player, said to me, if you win the tournament today, you can clickbait your video and say, should Forbidden Droplets be banned? And it's funny because after playing, you know, in an official tournament for the new year and using this card so much today, I kind of feel like it should be on the ban list in some capacity. This card is disgusting. Facilitates OTKs, can't be responded to, can be set and used as a trap. It fuels your graveyard with Nerval, Kits, Sparrow, so that it can be summoned off of your Wobbler. Like, it's just so dumb. Like, how cards like this exist is just ridiculous to me. I'm glad I have them. I'm glad I picked them up before the reprint, because the reprint's just as expensive, and it's just an insane card. This breaks the ceilings of decks. Like, decks can be good, and you can put this in, and it's just a different level. Then for the final cards in the main deck is just really powerful one-offs. Foolish Burial, 1-for-1. Foolish Burial is basically another Fractal. 1-for-1 is just, you know, tuners out everything in your deck. Called by, because it's just, as long as it's at 1, we play it at 1. Tenki, another Fractal. Technically, you don't have to play the Burial and Tenki for now, because you have 3 Fractal, but we just want to be as consistent as possible. And, you know, drawing a Fractal with one of these is not the end of the world. Foolish Burial can always send a different bird to get Wobble alive. But as soon as Fractal gets hits, obviously Tenki is more important, unless they ban it entirely. I was thinking, if they hit Fractal to 2, to replace the 2 Fractal, what I would end up doing is putting in Zodiac Rat, as well as any other Zodiac. I guess Ram probably. I think Ram is the one that stops traps, so you can stop Imperm, and then maybe make space in the extra deck for Borbor as well as Chuck, because then what you can end up doing is Rat send Ram, go into Chuck summon back Ram, link 2 into Ferrijit. It's basically still combo, which is quite nice. But I don't know. I'll have to see what the ban list brings, and if they hurt the deck a lot more than I think they're going to, in which case, you know, other, alters will have to take place. But for now, we're playing them because they are at 1 and we have them. And then finally, best card in the deck? No, Droplets is the best card in the deck. But I mean, you send this off of Droplets, so... but we play triple Desires. Drawing 2 birds off of a Desires is just the dumbest thing in existence. And that happened a lot today. Moving on to the extra deck, we obviously play the most broken card, extra deck card in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think, Zeus. This card is absolutely ridiculous, unfair. I made it with 6 materials a couple of times today, which is also just not fair. This card is ridiculous. Along with the other mechs, I guess, Warriors, Draco Future, and Utopic Future. This is obviously what lets you play through nub and hand traps, if they don't hand trap you, before you get to this point. Yeah, absolutely insane cards. One of the easiest cards to make in this deck, which is just, again, not fair. We then play the Ensemble Robin, which is actually a much better card than I realized. This card can almost single-handedly beat Sword Soul. You just keep bouncing back their tokens and they can't do anything. Like, they just end on very subpar boards, which is super, super interesting. So, I don't know, I feel like if they do end up hitting the other card that I think is on their radar, not Nightingale. Nightingale is just what lets you randomly OTK sometimes, but also make your 6-mat Zeus. But it is the Recital Starling, that I think is also on the radar for the ban list. Getting this to at least 1, because having 2 is what lets you make Utopic Future Draco so easily, and search everything in your deck. Not hard once per turn. Wow, thanks Konami. But yeah, this card is absolutely insane. Yeah, you tune it through 2 almost every turn 1, and then the 3rd is kind of just there. I don't actually use the 3rd. I don't think I used the 3rd ever today. So I might actually cut that for something else. I'm not sure yet, but for now we're playing the 3. Then for the Link 4s, for the card I did not summon the whole day today, Appaloosa. But then again, I didn't play against Drytron. I think if I played against Drytron, I would have made this, because they hard lose to this. So, unless, they have an out, of course. But the card I did summon every single game, and I need a second of, is Shirak. I do have a second, I believe. Herbert said he has one for me. But I cycled through this card plenty today. In the hands that are very subpar, you actually have to hard make this. You're cheating it out with Tri-brigade, but you're banishing 4, which is a hefty cost to summon this. And then linking it off into the Ferrijit actually opens up almost all your bird players, which is absolutely insane. So I cycled through 1 plenty times today. But I do definitely need a second one just for those later games to summon something off my tries that's a bit more impactful than the other links that I have here. But yeah, it's absolutely an insane card. And the Appaloosa, I think if they definitely hit the most unfair card in the extra deck, Smorg Bird of Sovereignty, then Appaloosa becomes a lot stronger, because instead of making this, you'll be making Appaloosa. But for now, we keep making this, because this is disgusting. Cannot be targeted, summoning out pretty much anything in your entire deck. An Omni Negate, a Floodgate, Afterside, you're summoning out a card that doesn't let your opponent set cards. It's just, That's how I beat Dom against Draco. I summoned out the Smorg that says your opponent can't set cards, and he just lost. It's just disgusting. This card isn't fair. It's crazy that I'm saying all these things that could potentially get hit. I mean, Starling to 1, Wobbler maybe to 1, Fractal to 1, this band. I don't know if Konami's going to hit the deck as much as I think it is, but it's crazy because this deck, like I said, I think really is the best deck of the format. It plays through hand traps, it makes unbreakable boards that don't even lose to Dark Ruler and Dropless post side. It's just, the deck isn't fair, not at all. Then we do play the 1 Ferrigit, super important for the combo. I almost want to play a second, but instead of playing the second, I am playing the Conductor, Harpy Conductor, which if I brick is sort of very important, because if you can only try summon this, link 3 into the bird, summon the barrier or the Mist Valley, it's not great, but it's something. Luckily I haven't bricked yet at my ratios playing 48, so it hasn't happened, but yeah, it's important to play just in case. And then it also comes up when you need to get rid of your own barrier statue, you can just link it away using this and any bird. And then final links, we play the Ancient Warrior Oath. This actually helps with OTKs just to clear the bodies, because a lot of your stuff is like really weak except for 2 or 3 extract monsters, so you want to be clearing them and just stacking bodies so that you can, you know, ram them and get those 8,000 life points. But also if you draw cracked, you can end on this additionally to the rest of your crazy board, so you have to play it. And then finally, if you break really hard again, you just play the 1 on Mirage to link off that kit and that Nerval. It's also come up where I've had like Canary and just say like 1 random bird that I can't use. What you end up doing is you just normal summon the bird, link it away for Al Mirage, and then Canary summon back, and you can get some plays going. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the extra deck. Before we get into the side, I do just want to say I am not playing a very oppressive, unfair Saki card, and that is Harpy's Feather Storm, I believe, the trap card. It should be up on screen now. I don't think, firstly, it's a fair card, and secondly, in more instances than few, it ends up being a brick when you draw it. I would rather be seeing combo pieces to combo through my opponent's board than just, negating maybe with a more subpar hand. I don't know, in testing I didn't like the card. Also, I don't actually own any. I tested online a little bit, and I'm not a big fan of online. But I don't know, in practice the card doesn't seem very fair, and it's also very sacky, and it's also very bricky. So, I don't know. I didn't end up playing that in the side or main as you saw. So just thought I would give a disclaimer there. What I did play in the side though was 2 Lancia. I'm very stupid. You should play 3 of this card, especially now that I know it can stop Protoss. This card is cracked. Also, PK is a big thing now and will be a big thing after Brave. So you have to play this at 3. I did play 2 Nib, which was dead the whole day today. Again, in theory, it's sort of good against certain matchups. It's kind of good against Drytron. It's very good against PK. Very good against Rogue, like Salamangreat. But, I don't know, I tested it in the main a bit, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And it didn't come up today. And I'm just finding it very similar to Droll in the fact that I always have these cards. I mean, Lancia's cracked all the time. But I always have these cards on my side, and they never come up. And it's just really frustrating, like really frustrating. Like they're not, I have them, but I put them in and then they're subpar. Like I put this in against Dinos and he never searched. I put this in, I think, against, I didn't actually put it in against Sword Soul, because in certain instances, if they're playing a heavy Tenny package, giving them the token just keeps letting them play. They just, some of the level 1, some of the level 7, make the level 8. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know, these cards are very iffy for me. Golden Lockbird, every profile I make I have it in the side, and every profile I say how lackluster it is, but one day I'll play against Drytron and then these cards will be sort of good. Rest of the side, we are playing 2 Godala, mainly because I only own 2, but also this is randomly for the Flunder matchup. When they summon the barrier statue, it doesn't ruin the deck, but it slows the deck down a lot, Bird Up. So I kind of put it in there, in here for that, but also for the M-Pen. With the trap that says if you control a tribute summon monster, when your opponent special summons, you negate that summon, and then they cannot special summon for the rest of the turn, but they get 3 normals. That trap is ridiculous. Actually, even worse, more so than the trap that lets them normal during my turn. I feel like, you know, them getting a negate, whoop-de-doo, that's fantastic. But them stopping you from special summoning hurts a lot more. So yeah, this is in that you contribute the M-Pen and the traps turned off, and then you can just play. And also there is a resident Ad Ignista player at Nexus, the locals that we played at. And yeah, that the Link 6 Towers is unoutable. Like, there's nothing in the main deck or extra that you can out it, so you have to play a random card to out it. You can sit on the Utopic Draco that cannot be destroyed by battle, and wait until you eventually draw this. They do have that random thing that banishes to negate if there's a I believe the Link 6 on field, but you just hope that they don't have that. It's Ad Ignista is such a random sacky like loss for random decks. We do play the Pank, not the greatest side card at the moment, but against Rogue it just wins. Against True Draco, Salamangreat, it outs the entire board almost by itself, so we have to play it. We play the Dark Smorg, which, like I said, won my game against Dom. Not being able to set cards as a back row deck is not fair. And then for back row removal, I am playing 3 Twin. I wanted chainable back row, but also mass back row removal, and Twin Twisters kind of covers both of that. Yes, you usually need your whole hand to make like the guard boards or the boards that can play through a lot of cards, but at the same time, again, it's the same concept with droplets. You get stacking your grave with cards that search and do things anyway, so it's kind of you know, it's opportunity cost. What do you want more? To play through 5 back row, or pop maybe 2 of them and get some random pluses when you discard? So yeah, Twin Twisters is definitely the way to go, especially with cosmic triggering Sword Souls cards. Even though, I mean, it's just summoning tokens and stuff, sometimes you can't OTK through, you know, the Baron, the Synchro 8 and a token, but you can OTK through the Baron and the Synchro 8. So like it's just all, you know, format dependent, Twin Twist or Cosmics. Then we play Red Reboots. This deck can OTK like it's nothing, so you just play that, and then you play the anti-Dark Ruler and Forbidden Droplets, because this deck can apparently just do that. It just says no to the cards that say no, which is just ridiculous. But that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I don't think I'm going to be giving away this mat just yet. I kind of like it a lot, actually, and a lot of my teammates at the moment actually have this mat. I think the only person who doesn't is Dom, so we need to sort that out for him. But yeah, if we can all get a hold of one, that would be very, very cool. So I'm not doing a giveaway for the mat just yet. There might be one in future, but it definitely feels good to be back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, you know, for sticking with me last year and tuning in for this deck profile, first video of the year. And the road to 1,000 is still continuing. By the end of this year, we need 1,000 subscribers. It just has to be done. And there should be some sponsored content coming up soon, I hope, from Solar Pop. And otherwise, I'm going to keep doing deck profiles, keep doing what I love, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Future Knight signing out.